Blessings. We are here within this meeting, and we are ready to answer any of your questions.
Thank you. We appreciate your attention and guidance, and we're excited to start our next phase of activity. We have several ideas in mind, and we were seeking some guidance on what maybe you felt would be important or a priority within the next few months.
We suggest that the first thing should be the book, because the book is completed now and it's ready to go out. And it has an important message that has been forgotten, primarily in the United States, forgotten because of the situation, the political situation. And so people are not focusing on their future. They're focusing on what's happening and not on solutions, because they feel as if they don't have the ability to create a solution. Therefore, if they have something positive to focus on, that they are not alone, they have never been alone, and the landings are not extraterrestrials, the landings are their own fifth-dimensional selves. And instead of being any kind of a new people coming or type of invasion, what it will be is a grand reunion. So we suggest that you put that right in the advertisement, the grand reunion with our fifth-dimensional expressions of self.
Perfect.
Did you have another question?
Well, yes, I think that's perfect guidance, because I think the important message that we focus upon will definitely be very impactful. What you just shared is perfect for the promotion and description. And we envision an accompanying webinar series to engage people.
Yes. It is very needed, especially in the United States, because it is something that people can do and something that is hopeful and bringing in a sense of greater unity, not just with their own higher self, but with their family of higher self, as well as the reflection of that higher self family within the third dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a expansion of reality, which will allow people to remember that what is occurring primarily on the 3D matrix, which is not the heart and soul of the planet. It's just the 3D matrix, which was created to distract humanity from any thoughts of returning home or ascending back to their higher selves.
And that's very helpful too, because we were curious how the unity concept could be tied in, and I think that's a perfect integrated way to present that.
Yes, it would be a unity of planetary ascension. And not that the people on the planet would ascend, yes, but the people on the planet would ascend with the planet. And so that takes that importance that somehow human beings are more important than a living being who has evolved to the state of being a planet. That the planet is a living being that has evolved to a much higher state of consciousness than the beings that live on it. And there are many, many beings that are ascending with the planet. The animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, and the kingdom that is having the most difficulty with the process of ascension would be the human kingdom. So we would suggest that the connection of the human kingdom to all of the other kingdoms would be an important issue, one which all of you have brought up and we have recommended it, and we have told Suzanne from the beginning that it was important to focus on the planet because the mental abilities of a human being are not enough to guide them into the process of ascension. They need to connect with the mental abilities of the earth. And we would suggest that the earth be representative as a living being they could communicate with and receive communications from. And when this occurs, that will change behavior. Because what people do to the planet, they wouldn't do to their worst human friend, but they do it to the planet.
Okay, yeah, I just got a infusion of some creative ideas on how we can do that in the direct communication with the planet and foster that relationship and have that even part of our daily routine with our higher self connections. And that's another aspect we can include there.
Yes, if you wish to say those, well, go ahead and say them now so they're on the tape so that you don't lose them. And then we can interact with it. So go ahead and state your ideas and we'll interact.
Okay. Well, I think we could even, I'm not certain how it would intertwine with the preparing for first contact and the unity concept, but maybe that's what brings it all together, is that representation of the communing with Gaia, with the planet on a daily basis. And that can be an affirmation, a meditation. I'm thinking something simple that they can grasp and add to their daily routine. That way it's ingrained in their consciousness and is a habit.
When people commune with the planet, they realize that there is more than their personal life. And when they commune with the planet, they don't always look down, they also look up. And when they commune with the planet, they go into the state of consciousness which Gaia is holding. And Gaia is holding a higher state of consciousness than she has in quite a while, because she is in preparation for the challenges. And the reason why these challenges have come up is because the forces of darkness are aware that the boat is leaving and they're not going to be able to get on it. And so they do not want the boat to leave. They want to distract people and get them worked up about what is wrong and who said what, instead of realizing that what is happening with the chatter on the news is and has been a distraction, to forget that it's not about politics, and it's not even about an eclipse. It's about how are people interacting with, how are people treating the planet? Are people ready to accept first contact? Are people ready to expand their consciousness into a higher frequency?
Well, that's very helpful. I think we can take all of these important concepts because it feels like we're able to focus on that connection and refocusing people on what's important. Because you're right, the distractions are at a pretty high level at this time. We see it everywhere. So
And you spoke of unity consciousness, and the easiest way to have global unity consciousness is to merge with the planet. And then when you merge with the planet, you merge with the elements, the elementals, and all of the people. And there are those that are in leadership that don't actually really live on the planet. They are actually living on the matrix. And as they live on the matrix, they go to their place that is distant and apart from what is actually occurring, and go into their selfishness about how they can get what they want. What is occurring is those selfish tendencies are showing up in people's behavior, in people's words, and people's ideas and choices. And so there is a recognition amongst those who are united with the planet and who are able to function from light and love, to be able to recognize when other people are not able to do so.
Interesting. So it's like a shift from selfish to selfless in being of service. And some people will be in tune with that, and some people will not.
Yes. And the people that are in tune with that will expand their consciousness, because that's a fifth-dimensional state of consciousness. And they will begin to go through the transitions of expanding their consciousness into the fifth dimension, which will get them increasingly out of the illusion of time and more into the reality of the here and the now. And what is accomplished within the here and the now of the fifth dimension will just automatically rain down, so to speak, into the lower frequencies of reality. Because the higher frequencies of reality hold light and love. And light and love is the antidote to fear and anger. When people are not able to hide in their fear and anger, when fear and anger is not available, then they have to go inside themselves and see, why are they particularly angry? Why are they particularly fearful? And then once they do so, then they can heal it. But if they look outside of themselves, they can't heal their own fear and anger, because the core of that is inside of themselves. So there is a purging of the fear and anger of the third dimensional matrix, so that beings, humans, can allow themselves to consciously perceive, participate in the fifth dimensional frequency of reality, which of course already is. It's not something that will be created. Humanity thinks that they are creating it. It was created long before humanity is. It's just a frequency of reality. Suzanne is writing another book right now, which is about a woman who takes over her grandmother's house that she grew up in and finds a key and goes up into the attic. And when she does so, then she finds a portal to the fifth dimension. And people will begin to finding their portal to the fifth dimension, which is not a physical portal, it's a consciousness portal.
It's always helpful to have descriptions and experiences such as the things that come through in the books to guide us and enable us to envision what that is like, what it looks like, how we could experience it. So we look forward to seeing how that story unfolds.
Yes, as we have told Suzanne long ago, the truth is best told in a good story. Because then different people can accept the truth in the manner and in the fashion and in the way that blends with them. But if the truth is shouted at them or dictated to them, then they move away from it, because Gaia is a planet that is based on finding oneself. And when they chose to take an incarnation on the planet of Gaia, they did so because it was the now for them to go on an away mission and forget who they really are and go through the process of remembering who they really are. And from that process of forgetting and remembering, they can understand the process of forgetting, so that once they remember, they can help others who have forgotten how to remember.
It feels like we're coming full circle almost back to the preparing for first contact, where there's a recognition and an awareness that book will bring about, that, hey, it's really us, our higher dimensional selves, that, like you said, it's a reunion. And when that hope is provided, then more and more people will be excited about the future and will start investigating the truth of why they're here, why they're having the experiences they are, and seeing them from a higher perspective. Because that is so empowering when you recognize, oh, that's what this is about. And we're remembering and we're transmuting and expanding consciousness and healing.
Yes, the book Preparing for First Contact, that is complete and ready to be dispersed, is about a person who wakes up and realizes that he was actually on a mission to go to Earth, but he got lost. And it's about his journey to remember who he is and remember why he came to Earth and what he was supposed to do on Earth. That is very much where humanity is within this now. It is the now for humanity to begin to wake up and realize that they chose to come to Earth, that they are the creators of their reality. Their fifth-dimensional self chose to take a third, fourth-dimensional body to assist the planet. And then, of course, there was a very big process of getting lost within that process. And then, how do they recover? How do they remember exactly? Now, Suzanne has been hearing from more and more people that have suddenly remembered. And this is part of what is occurring, that more and more people are beginning to remember. And so there will be people that will be drawn to the class because they remember something. And that something is a toehold. And it's much like a mountain climber climbing up a steep mountain, that they have to stick the pinion in the mountain and keep tied to that pinion so they don't fall and move up to the next level. And then when that is stabilized, they move and put another pinion, another rock, and move up again. And so it is the process of allowing oneself to bring in the acknowledgement of what they have experienced as being real. And in order for it to really be real, it needs to be integrated into their daily life. And the integration of their meditations, their dreams, their cosmic, higher dimensional experiences into their daily life is something that's very difficult for them to do alone, because it's not anything that has ever occurred on the planet, ever. It has never occurred. Therefore, they cannot go into any past lives to go into that past life to assist them how to deal with this challenge. What they need to do instead is to move into their fifth dimensional self that chose to take the physical vessel that they are now wearing.
You just mentioned about moving into your fifth dimensional self. That is the way to integrate, you're saying, and also embody that reality, and that's how that becomes part of your daily life.
First off, help them to remember who they are. And when they remember that they are not just the physical person that lives on the physical planet with all the physical restraints and fears and responsibilities and duties, when they remember that their higher self is not some higher being, their higher self is just them, their own self, their very own self that chose to volunteer to take the physical vessel. And the connection with that higher self will activate the memory of why they chose, what exactly was the mission that they chose from that frequency of reality. Now, from that frequency of reality, it appears very easy to do many things. However, part of the reason why so many humans forgot is that in the fifth dimension, there is no time, there is no space. You can hold something in your mind and instantly create it within your mind. That does not occur on the third dimension. And even in the fourth dimension, it's just a part of your dreams or your imaginations. And so there needs to be that first step up into documentation of all dreams, documentation of messages that seem to fly into your head for no reason, documentation of the bridge, which is the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the bridge between the third and the fifth. And it is across that bridge that people can begin to truly remember who they are and their fifth dimensional self. Now, do you have any questions about what would be the best way to share this in a unique fashion? Because, of course, this theme has been the theme to a great level, but a lot of the initial groups were primarily based on people recognizing that they were the planet. And which is vital because it gets them out of service to self. And that the only way that they can really be effective is if they move into service to others. And that would be an active service to others. And many people would like to give service to others, but it's too frightening, it's too overwhelming, and where do they begin, and how can they begin, and what service do they possibly have, and how could they share it? And so these will be important questions that will be answered via their intimate reconnection with their fifth dimensional self.